ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, your man Louie T? Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Dolphins, Eagles. Big win for the Eagles, 31-17 over the Miami Dolphins. Eagles improved to 6-1 on the season. Dolphins are now 5-2. Eagles joined the Chiefs as the best record in the NFL at 6-1. The 49ers will try to see if they can join that elite group on Monday night on the road at Minnesota. Another really good game for Jalen Hurts. I know there were 2 turnovers in there, and if you don't like Hurts, you're going to try to single that out. I'm going to be honest with you. I am a fan of Jalen Hurts. Can't stand the team that he plays for, but damn it, the man is good. There were plays that he made. First of all, he was hurt. He had a scramble towards the left sideline where he pulled up lane. And this shit team tonight, and I like Mike Tirico, but he got to stop slobbing all over Chris Collinsworth. I know that's his colleague, and you got to build him up, but the man is literally limping towards the sideline, and they don't even bring the shit up. They act like he didn't even get hurt. They didn't even bring the shit up until after the fact. Like 4 or 5 plays, like after they scored a touchdown. Like, bro, the man is limping. Y'all not gonna talk about that? At the end of the day, he was compromised. I don't know what exactly happened, but he wasn't 100%. But you wouldn't have been able to tell. He sucked the shit up, scrambled when he needed to scramble, extended when he needed to extend, stood in there like a big boy, down the field, threw a dime to A.J. Brown. Are you kidding me? There were some massive plays in this game, and they were all made by Jalen Hurts. Yep, the pick six, you don't like to see it. It's a great play by Kohu to tip it and Baker to pick it. You hate the fumble, right? But he more than made up for it. More than made up for it. He was outstanding in this game, as he's been for the most part all season long. You know, a couple of hiccups here or there, but he's literally the heart and soul of that team. The Philly shove, the brotherly shove doesn't work without him. I think I figured out a way to kind of slow the shit down just a little bit, because there's a gap on that left side that they always attack, because you're putting smaller guys in right there. Everybody's crunching into the middle, and then there's that gap off to the side, and that's where they go every time. So my suggestion is just to hell with all the small guys. Just put a bunch of big dudes in there. Keep one corner in case they try to get cute. And I would take a linebacker, put him on the edge, and I would have everybody condense that middle. That's going to force him to stand up. They did it on the first one. Washington has done it twice, where they stand him up. And then instead of being a dumbass or jumping over the top or coming on the backside and jumping on the top, you're doing nothing but pushing him forward. You come from behind around the pile and pull his leg and pull his ass backwards. It's a lot of work, but it can be done. But again, football players, we've never confused football players for being the smartest. Never. Anyway, that shit is borderline cheating. If I'm Nick Sirianni and it's 4th and 1 to 1.5, why the hell would I punt? I don't give a shit if I'm at my own 13-yard line. If it's 4th and 1 and I got that weapon at my disposal, why would I punt? It's got to be 4th and 2 for me to not run the brotherly shove. 1.5, I can still pick it up. They're usually getting about 1.5 yards on these brotherly shoves. I'm not punting the ball from, 1 yard short, a 1.5 yards short. I'm not punting the ball. Philly shoving it. I'm brotherly shoving that shit. You ain't stopping it. I haven't seen the team stop it yet. Anyway, A.J. Brown. What more can I say? 5 straight games of $125. He's just been, I just keep thinking about what this Eagles team would have looked like had they gotten Allen Robinson instead of A.J. Brown. And if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, you got to be kicking yourself. You watching David Long run him around tonight, making plays defensively, and you watching A.J. Brown run around making plays all year last year and again this year, and you ain't got shit. You got to feel like shit. AJ Brown is a man. And there was, once upon a time, there was a discussion about the best receiver in the NFC East. It's AJ Brown. That discussion is dead. I mean, you can have one if you want, but that's the answer. If you're a reasonable and logical fan, ain't no capping. He's the best receiver in the division. Take a couple of steps, and then you get to the next guy. Smitty was in that conversation at one point, 1A, 1B. He separated himself from his teammate too. The run game was okay. It wasn't a big factor tonight. But here's the thing I love about the Eagles. This is twice now this season in particular. You could even argue 3 if you want to count the Rams game. This is the second time for sure. The Bucs game, this game, and you probably could add the Rams game in too, because they ran it down the field, got first downs, and then kicked the field goal to extend it to 9, which put them out of reach. So I'd say 3 times. It's the third time this season where their offense has gotten the football with a considerable amount of time left in the game too. This isn't like 6 minutes left. They got the ball tonight with 11 and some change. And they handed the ball back to the Dolphins down 14 with 4 minutes left. Here you go. See what you can do with that. Ate up 7 minutes of the fourth quarter clock and scored a touchdown and said, hey, knock yourself out, man. We done. We done here. Did the same thing to Tampa Bay. Ate up a ton of clock in the second half. Towards the end of the game, put it away. Did the same thing to the Rams. I love it when a team can exert their will on the opposition at the end of a game and put it away on offense. Don't leave it to chance with your defense. Don't ask your defense to come up with a huge. That's a dangerous Miami Dolphins offense. And I didn't even know they were that banged up tonight. They came in with 2/5 of their offensive line out. And then on the first possession of the game, they lost their guard. So they were at a stark disadvantage up front. And still, Tyreek Hill dropped the touchdown pass and caught another one. Waddle got hurt and didn't play most of the game. And they still a dynamic offense. To be able to do what the Eagles did to the Dolphins tonight, and again, the Dolphins were, I didn't realize how banged up they were. No Xavier Howard tonight. You know, no, the 2 of their offensive linemen down. Then you have another one go out, and they're electric, all-world rookie running back, obviously out on IR. So they had a lot of guys out of this game. But they shut down the run for the most part early, at least. Really kind of set the tone. Like, you want to beat us through the air. The ground game ain't really going to be a factor tonight. And then I said this when breaking this game down, if the Eagles can get to Tua and disrupt him, they'll win the football game. They got to Tua. They sacked him 3 or 4 times. I think they sacked him 4 times tonight. Disrupted his rhythm 2 or 3 other times. They shut the run game down. It was going to be a line of scrimmage game. It was going to be a line of scrimmage game. And the Eagles dominated the line of scrimmage. And if you can do that in this league consistently, you're going to win a lot of football games. And a lot of people talk about the trenches and spending capital and how you build your football team. To me, you build your football team. You got to have a quarterback. And Hurts is that dude. But you also got to have the line on both sides. And the Eagles have that. That's why the Eagles are who they are. They got a quarterback now. And they got the offensive and defensive lines to back up what they do. You're going to find it hard in this league to win consistently if you can't do it on both sides of the line of scrimmage. The 49ers, the Eagles, the Chiefs, you look at the best teams in football, the Lions, even though they got their asses whooped today, Cowboys, even though, you hesitate to put them in that category, but the better teams in the league, you don't have to go much further than 3 positions, right? 3 positional groups, rather. Quarterback, offensive line, defensive line. Then you just fill in the rest of the blanks. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. People love to try to reinvent the wheel in the NFL. The Dolphins offense, it's cute and it's fun to watch. And I enjoy watching the creativity. They had the no-look behind the back pass to Tyreek Hill and all the creative shit that they do. It was a 3-yard game. Like, I don't want to sit here and act like he went for 73 on the bitch. It was 3 yards. It was cute, though. It's fun, right? But when it's all said and done, you can wipe all that shit away. Can you kick somebody's ass in the trenches? For the Eagles, the answer is yes on both sides. I got guys for days on the defensive side. I can keep rotating them in. How you want it? I didn't even see Hassan Reddick at the end of this game. He did his damage early. Now we can just rotate the rest of these dudes in and let them get some work. How you want it on the offensive line? I got some of those too. It's tough. What you gonna do? I mean, I admire how they've built the football team. The Eagles are a good football team, and so are the Dolphins. I don't feel any different about the Dolphins tonight. And Chris Collinsworth irks me a ton, but he's not wrong about this experience playing Philadelphia and what they're going to be later if they can stay healthy defensively, because they're going to get they're missing a lot of shit. No Jalen Ramsey, no Xavier Howard. David Long left the game in the third quarter when he ran into Javon Holland. Like, they got a lot of stuff that they're going to get back here shortly. And when they get all of that stuff together and they figure out how, and Vic Fangio is a mad scientist, and once he figures out how to use all these pieces that they got, if they can stay healthy, look out. That Dolphins defense is going to be able to match the energy that the offense is putting on the field, and that's going to make them dangerous. But for the time being, the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Chiefs, to me, are in a class by themselves in the NFL right now. The Bills are no longer in that conversation. We don't know what the hell they are. The Bengals are struggling. We haven't seen the Bengals show up at all this year. The Lions tried to inch towards that, and then they got a rude awakening today. That I told you, it's very revealing what happens when people try to put you in that category. It's amazing. People try to put Dallas in that category. And what happened to them on a Sunday night against the 49ers on the road? People tried to put the Dolphins in that category. They went to Buffalo and look what happened to them. Had they won tonight, they would have been able to put themselves back in that category, but they're not there yet. They're not there yet. They're close, but they're not there yet. Detroit, they're close, but they're not there yet. It's 3 teams. And until somebody knocks Kansas City off, they'll be representing the AFC again. And if you want a chip, you're going to have to go through them. And in the NFC, I can't find a way that it, again, unless something catastrophic happens, I can't see a way where it's not Philadelphia v. San Francisco. And really what it boils down to is who's got home field advantage? Who's going to have the best record in the NFC? That's what you're playing for. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm taking care of business, and I'm immediately looking to see what San Francisco is doing, because that's honestly what it's going to come down to. Can you find a way to get home field advantage so when you go and meet them in the NFC Championship game, you're playing at the Linc instead of having to travel all the way across the country to play in Santa Clara? That's really what it boils down to. I want it to be cold. I want it to be a street fight. I don't want it warm, and I don't want those boys being comfortable. That's what it's going to boil down to, because we can see what this is already. So, dominant win for Philadelphia. Again, minus the turnovers, they probably win this game comfortably. And they did. But, it was a 7-point game. It was tied at 1 point, 17 all. Tyreek Hill dropped the touchdown pass that would have given them the lead. So they had their opportunities, did the Dolphins. But if not for the turnovers, I'm not. I mean, that was 10 points that they provided. The Dolphins went on a night where they scored 17. I mean, let that resonate. Pick six, Hurts fumble, turned into a field goal. Let's keep it a buck. I mean, this could have got a lot worse than what it was. Okay. If you're the Dolphins, I'm not tripping about this loss, honestly speaking. I do see a theme with the Dolphins from this standpoint. They got to clean up some of the little clerical stuff, the little issues. Like the first play of the game can't be a delay of game. Like that's bullshit. You know you going on the field and you know what play you're about to run. What I don't understand what the problem is. How is it that the first play of the third quarter you got to burn a timeout? I think it was the first play of the fourth quarter. It was the first play of a drive. How does that happen? In a game that you surmise is going to be close at the end, can you afford to be wasting a second half timeout? This is not the first game that I've seen the Dolphins look vulnerable outside of the Buffalo game. This is not the first game where I looked at them and said, what are you doing? This is sloppy. I said the same thing when they played the Giants. This is sloppy. You're not going to beat anybody really good doing this shit. You played the Giants, so you did what you were supposed to do. But you can't beat Philadelphia like this. You can't beat Kansas City doing that shit. And the penalties. How many pre-snap, like, to me, the dumbest penalty anybody can get in a game. Like, this is dumb 101 football for me. Line up offside. If you want to piss me off, line up offsides. Like, that's the most elementary, fundamental shit you can do. Line up offsides. How many times, and I don't know if he's trying to get an advantage or what, how many times did Christian Wilkins line up offsides tonight? Like, and he's blatantly like, bro, just turn around and look at the football and you'll see you're not even close. Back the hell up. They had a bunch of false start penalties, like, and they can overcome it. They're not like offensively challenged to where they had a third and like 19 and Tua throws a 30-yard pass to Cedric, their third or fourth receiver, Cedric Wilson. You know, like they not hurting on 3rd and 12 like most NFL offenses. 3rd and 16 doesn't scare them. They can convert that shit. But it's unnecessary. You put yourself in those positions against a good Philadelphia Eagles front. You can't live that way. That's not smart. It's not healthy. It's not safe. Stay where it's nice and manageable at 3rd and 6 and 5 and 4. But they lived in 3rd and long tonight. Now, they converted 3rd and long, but you also aren't going to convert 3rd and long a ton of times either. So, disappointed in the sloppiness, per se, with which they operated tonight. Too many penalties. Too many burnt, wasted timeouts, too many just dumb shit that it's avoidable when you're a good football team. You just don't have those type of mistakes. You can't afford to make those type of mistakes. But all in all, where this game was lost is your inability to win up front. And that's what I thought the game would come down to. Is Hurts is a master at finding a way to escape. You got to corral this dude. I thought you did a great job on the fumble of not letting him break outside the pocket. His thing is he's going to threaten the A and B gaps, and then he's going to kind of fade back. And if he can get outside, he's going to try to outflank your edge rusher who's probably coming inside because he thinks Hurts is going to attack that A or B gap. And now he's coming inside too far, and now Hurts can get outside, and now he can extend, right? They did a great job on that first forced fumble of not allowing him to escape out the back door, and it was nowhere for him to go in the A or B gaps. So when he tried to squeeze through, two guys converge, the ball comes out. But how many times, like Nick Chubb on the big gainer to who was that? That was a backbreaker there. It was to AJ Brown, and he got down to the 1 yard line, and then he did the brotherly shove and that's the backbreaker. That's 3rd down, bro. That's you getting the ball back. That's the difference between you getting off the field and not giving up no points and giving up a touchdown. That's huge. You got to get them on the ground. Easier said than done, man. Jalen Hurts is one of the best in the league at extending, plays off script, making shit happen when it looks like he's done, and somehow he comes out of that bitch. He's really good at that shit. And his offensive line is almost like, I watched 2 cheat codes tonight. His offensive line, even though he was sacked more times than I'm used to seeing, the amount of time that he usually has back there is insane. His offensive line is a cheat code, and Tyreek Hill is a cheat code. Man. Tyreek Hill, he's different, man. Even though he dropped the touchdown tonight, what the fuck? He's crazy, man. Hopefully Waddle is okay. He was dealing with some back issues, probably some back spasms, if I had to guess. And you just get healthy. You get Devin Achane back. You get Xavier Howard back. Because you still haven't even seen what the defense looks like with Jalen Ramsey in the mix. And that'll be happening here in the next two weeks or so, because they've already activated his 21-day window. So he'll be back here in the next week or two. And then you just kind of see what this shit looks like. And I'm not sure you're not the best team in the AFC East. I mean, Buffalo's already mopped the floor with you. You'll get them at your place later on in the season, but I'm not sure you're not the best team. I mean, because the Bills have lost to the Jets and the Patriots. So they've only beaten you in terms of the division. So I'm not sure you're not the best team in the division. But we're going to find out, because you're going to have to go through Buffalo. You're going to have some other tough games, see how you navigate the rest of your schedule. And if you're able to do that, still got to play, the Cowboys, got to play the Bills again. The good thing is you've already played the Patriots in New England. That's always tough for you. You find a way to win that on a Sunday night early in the season. You haven't been to New York with the Jets, and by the time you get to them, I don't know what the schedule looks like, but you may get some Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he's even going to be back. They talking all this shit. I don't know if he's going to be back or not. That kind of defense is the kind of defense that would give Tua problems, though. I can see that already. That kind of defense with the corners, the pressure they apply. And then, that was something else I know. So I'm glad I just brought that up. I, jogged my memory on that. The spacing was trash tonight for the Dolphins. Like that pick that Slay had should never have happened. Like, I don't know what Waddle was doing on that play and why he was so close. But if Slater, that's a touchdown. The linebacker has no idea where the ball is. He's face guarding. He runs by him. Mostert stops, comes back to the ball. He's going to catch that bitch at the goal line. And Slay comes over and picks it off. What was up with the space? And that it was 2 times tonight. The Waddle catch on the first drive on the sidelines, there's 2 receivers in the same spot. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? Clean this shit up. It's like, that's another issue with the Dolphins, is for all of this, shifts and motions and all of the shit that they do, and they put a lot of stress on your defense. They got to be more precise with the little, again, attention to detail, not having to delay a game, not having to burn a timeout, not having 2 receivers within 2-3 yards of each other. These are the little finer details that they are lacking sometimes, and you get away with this shit when you're as dynamic and explosive as they are. They got to clean that little shit up, the little attention to detail. They do that, they got a chance to be a really dangerous team. But big win for the Eagles tonight, 31-17. Hurts, again, was really good, man. A.J. Brown, really good. Just a really all-around solid effort. Defensively, they held one of the most explosive offenses in the league, really, to 7 points. Now, some of that was on the Dolphins. You had a holding penalty, negate a touchdown. You had a drop touchdown by Tyreek Hill, but that's not the Eagles' fault. That's a hell of an effort. Hassan Reddick, I thought, set the tone with those stops on the run to the outside, because that's where the Dolphins want to live, on the perimeter. That's how your speed is displayed when you get outside in space. They don't want to run in between the tackles because you don't get to see Raheem Mostert's 4.3 speed, 4.2 speed. You don't get to see Tyreek Hill speed if you in the middle of the football field. You want that shit out on the edges, out in space. And I thought they shut that shit down early. Set the tone. Let's get to the comment section. See what y'all got to say. I ain't got too much for y'all tonight. Mike Jink, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Louie Lou, what's up, baby? Phillies finish them tomorrow. We're going to see. It's been a great series. Better than I thought it was going to be. I thought y'all was going to cook these boys 4-1. That's what I had y'all pegged for. But I think y'all going to finish them off tomorrow. I think that's it. And I think the Rangers over there doing your dirty work for you. I mean, they still got to win in a game 7. But I think they might do your dirty work for you. Because I already told you, if the Rangers win, y'all win in the World Series. If the Astros win, I think they could beat y'all. That's the only team I think could beat y'all. Mike Jink, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, by the way, I got the piss cup. Missed every 1 p.m. game. I don't think so, man. I might have 10 losses, bro. That shit is bad, man. This was a rough week. This was a rough week. Rough week. This one might put me out of commission for good. Depending on what the top dudes did in the pool, this one might put me out of commission for good. This was a rough week. This is one of those weeks that if you manage to get 8 wins, you sitting pretty, because everybody else is going to be below the Mendoza line. It's going to be a lot. It's 13, so you can't break even. It's a lot of 6 wins, a lot of 5, 4 wins. This shit was ugly, bro. Wait. You're not alone. Whatever you did, whatever you think you did, is probably somebody worse than you this week, bro. DJ23, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I'm still disappointed. You can't lose that game. Did you see Allen's post game? I'm tired of this shit. Knowing this team, watch we beat the Eagles, LOL. I'm done. I ain't got shit. I ain't got nothing to say. Like, I'm quiet now. The Giants broke my spirits. The one thing I need to have in order to be the best version of myself is hope. And it's really less about the Giants. It's more about EB. EB broke my spirit because he ain't shit. And in order for us to be any good, he needed to be the answer. And he clearly is not. So I ain't got shit. I mean, I don't have any rah-rah. I don't got no energy for you. I don't have shit for you. We are what we are. You know? And so I don't really have no energy. Blade Brown 903, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, you have to admit we are the best team in the NFC. Be real. I don't think you're better than the 49ers. I don't. I mean, you want me to say something that I don't feel comfortable saying because I don't believe that. I think you're the second best team in the NFL, but I don't think you're better than San Francisco. I don't. I'm going to just be honest with you. The Browns are better than the Jets. You lost to the Jets. And even though they lost to a backup quarterback, just like you lost to a backup quarterback, the Browns, that defense, Myles Garrett, did you see what he did today, by the way? God damn it, he's good. I just get so mad because I'm like, we spent all of this shit on all of these dudes and don't none of our shit look like that. It ain't that much of a difference between number 1 overall pick and number 2 overall pick. The only difference was there was no Joe Burrow in Myles Garrett's draft. If there was, his ass would have been the number 2 pick. That's the only difference. And my shit don't look like that. My shit ain't jumping over an offensive lineman to block a field goal. My shit ain't doing that. My shit ain't getting to the quarterback in the end zone, forcing a fumble for a recovered touchdown. My shit ain't doing that. But I digress. I don't think you're better than the 49ers. Y'all are neck and neck, though. Like, you're splitting hairs. Like, it's 1A, 1B, really. So, I guess, yes, you are the best team in the NFC. You have a co-lead with the 49ers, which you've taken a half-game lead because they haven't played yet. So, technically, you are the best team in the NFC. Tomorrow, I think they go out into – I think they're pissed off. And they go to Minnesota, and I think they tear the Vikings a new asshole, and they get back to 6-1, get back to their winning ways. And we'll see. Maybe they falter. Maybe they struggle. Maybe Brock Purdy comes down to earth. Maybe all these things transpire, and there's no doubt in anybody's mind you're the best team in the NFL or NFC. Excuse me. Maybe that is the case. But right now, I can't say that. I think you're tied with the 49ers. I'll say that. You're tied with them. This win stamps you in that conversation for me because they had one under their belt. First of all, the Steelers are good. The Cowboys, like, these are the teams they beat. Yeah, y'all hadn't really beat nobody until tonight. Like, just like everybody was saying, well, the Dolphins haven't really played anybody. I'm like, shit, the Eagles ain't played nobody. The best team you had played record-wise was probably the Bucs. The Rams stink. The Bucs stink. The Commanders stink. I mean, who did you really beat? So this was the one that stamps you like, hey, we still legit, just in case you forgot. So I think y'all neck and neck. Junio Rudy, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, perfect bye week for my, I don't know what that is. The Buffalo cooked bison and the Dolphins lose and the Pansies F up their draft position. Jet life. Oh, the jet. That's supposed to be a jet. Okay. I got you. You mean New England cooked the bison? So that's why you threw me for a loop. Like, who were you a fan of? Yeah, that was I don't know if it could have gone any better for you, honestly. Everybody in the division lost except New England. Who gives a shit what they do? They were 1-5 before the day started. They don't have no impact on you. So yeah, it was you're tied. I think you would. Well, you have one less game. You're 3-3. Now the Bills are 4-3, and the Dolphins are 5-2. So you're within striking distance with everybody. So it can't get much better than that. Drinkable Measy, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, being a Commanders fan, I am salty because Aladdin and AJ Brown make it look easy. Yeah, man. You know what's frustrating is watching teams, even the Dolphins. You know, you heard Chris Collinsworth talk about their bread and butter is that slant wheel concept, right? And they do it so much that they got shit off of that. Like, I could throw a back shoulder, I can go uptown on your ass, I could throw the slant. Like, there's so many things they can do because that's the shit that they do. And the Eagles, their shit is the slant. Like, we go at 3rd and 7, I'm gonna get 6 yards on this slant. You're not gonna stop me on 4th and 1. Good luck, you know. Or I'm gonna get the first down on the slant. Like, but you're not it's like a little in or it's a slant. It's in breaking. Whatever it is, it's in breaking. And nobody seems to be able to stop it. And so, and then once you get nosy on that, like they did late in the game, slant and go, sluggo. And I'm going up top on you now. So when teams have a bread and butter and they go to it and and it keeps working, like, I love that shit. I love that shit. When you got something that the other team just can't stop. You know what that's called? An identity. This is who we are. This is what we do. My team has been lacking an identity for the better part of 2.5 decades. We don't know who we are. I talk about that all the time. We have no clue who we are as a football team, what we hang our hat on. We have no identity. We look in the mirror and we don't even know who the hell we're looking at. Who is that? That's you. What? We don't know if we want to throw it, we want to run it, we want to be physical, finesse. We just all over the damn place. And they have a formula. They stick to it. They don't veer too far from it. And the end result is deadly. J Mark, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, how many players in OC/DCs have we had that failed? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest with you. All right. Take a few comments. Like I said, I ain't got a lot for y'all tonight, so I ain't gonna be here too much longer. SoFlo writes, what up, Lou? This Dolphins team is fraudulent. Uh-oh. Here we go. 10 offensive points won't cut it. And you can't throw a red zone interception down by 7 in the fourth quarter and expect to win a football. I don't agree with the first statement. This Dolphins team is fraudulent. I will say that everything else you said is spot on, 110% factual, actual factuals. You're not going to beat anybody good scoring 10 offensive points. I don't know what the penalty number ended up and what the damage ended up being there, but you're not going to beat anybody with 9, 10, 11 penalties. Where it was somewhere in that neighborhood. Not going to do that. You're not going to beat any good teams doing that shit, beating yourself. And you're not going to beat anybody throwing a red zone interception. And again, that's a spacing issue. If Waddle just runs a post there and takes, first of all, why is he running a post corner? If Waddle just runs a post and takes Slate out of there, that's a touchdown, bro. And I'm assuming Tua expected that whole area to be vacated. There's no way he's supposed to be running a post corner with a wheel route up the sideline, one-on-one with a linebacker. I refuse to believe that. That doesn't make any sense. That combination can't be what was dialed up. Waddle, I gotta believe Waddle made a mistake. Anyway, you can't throw a pick there. Worst case scenario, you come away with 3, you cut it to a 4-point game, and you tell yourself, worst case scenario, they get a field goal and we still got a chance to tie the game, possibly win it if we go for 2, or we got a chance to win it. If we get a stop, we got a chance to win it with a touchdown. You cannot turn it over right there. But even with that said, how about the defense get a stop? I mean, against a normal team, you did it twice. But the Eagles aren't a normal team because they got the brotherly shove at their disposal. So how about you get a stop, defense? How about you got them in the third down and manageable or long multiple times, and you let them catch passes that got them within a yard? Like, you can't let the Eagles get in the striking zone. Like, to me, I'm not letting them catch a 7-yard pass on 3rd and 8 because I already know they're going for the shit, and I'm not going to be able to stop them. So what I'm doing is I'm going to have my guys' heels 2 yards before the sticks, and we're not backing up. I'm not backing up. Wherever the sticks are, I'm playing 2 yards in front of that, and I'm challenging anything that they throw. If it's short, I'm coming rallying up, and I'm tackling, and that shit ain't going to be close enough for them to do that brotherly shove shit. But what I'm not going to do is play 7 yards off on 3rd and 8 and let them get 7 yards. That I'm not going to do. I'm not backing up. You're going to have to run by me, and Hurts going to have to make a throw. He's capable. He did it again tonight. Do it again. What you're not going to do is keep nickel and diming me and then brotherly shove my ass on 4th and 1. I don't think they're fraudulent. I think that this is a good team. They do what they're supposed to do to bad teams. And when you play better teams, you haven't proven that you're good enough to beat them yet. But when you get your full defense back, let's see if this defense takes another step, and it may be able to take some of that pressure off your offense. Masterio McManos, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, my Ravens look good today. Can we win the AFC North? Of course you can. I mean, I've already said your ass shouldn't have but 1 or 2 losses max. Like, yeah, no business losing to Indianapolis, and yeah, no business losing to what's the other one? The Steelers. I'm assuming you got 5 losses or 3 losses, excuse me. I think you also lost to who'd you lose to as well? I think you lost one more game. But you have no business having 7 games into the season. What are you, 5-2? I think you're 5-2. I don't think you've had a bye week yet. You haven't, because they gave you the option to have a bye after your London game, and you turned them down and told them, "Nah, we good." So you played 7 games. Everybody in the division was 3-3. Nobody had. So you lost another game. I just can't think of who that other loss is to. But you beat Cincinnati already. You lost. You beat Cleveland. You beat Cincinnati. You beat Cleveland. You beat Houston in week 1, and you won today against Detroit. So that's your 4 wins. You lost to Indianapolis. You lost to Pittsburgh. And damn, who else did y'all lose to? Is it? Is that it? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Wait, so you beat Houston, you beat Cincinnati, you beat Cleveland, you beat Detroit, and you beat Tennessee. So no, you're 5-2. So I was tripping. You only got 2 losses. You should be 7-0. Like, real talk, you had no business losing the 2 games that you lost. You should be 7-0 right now. No worse than 6-1. Everybody is allowed 1 stinker. You had 2 of them. You're a damn good football team, though. And if they figure out this offense with your new offensive coordinator, they figure this shit out and they get into a rhythm, you get healthy, because y'all are getting healthier. That's what I keep telling people. This is what y'all don't understand about Baltimore. And I said this on my Friday podcast. They're getting healthy now. They're getting guys back. That injury report is looking a lot cleaner these days. I haven't watched your game today yet. I can't wait to watch the destruction of the Lions and see what actually took place, because it got out of hand quick. I want to see what the hell actually transpired before I make a determination, but that shit was impressive. That shit was impressive. Yes, you can win the AFC North. You should win the AFC North, but you already lost to Pittsburgh. And say what you want about Mike Tomlin. Do not count a Mike Tomlin coach team out. I'm learning my lesson. And I shame on me. Because if you asking me, do I trust Mike Tomlin or do I trust the Rams? I should have just default. I didn't know if TJ Watt was healthy. He had a pick today. Of course he was healthy. Goddamn Rams. DJ23, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, this team makes you need therapy. Like, why do we keep coming back? LOL. I wish I had an answer for you, DJ. Sometimes I ask myself that. My wife asks me, what's wrong with you? Every year, this day is hard. Every year. And you would think she would know me by now, but generally losses don't get to me because I've lost so much with this team that only time I'm pissed off about a loss is when it's something that I control. Like I lost in dominoes or I lost in spades or some shit competitive. I'm pissed off because I control that shit. But every year, there's one loss in particular that makes me more down than the rest. That was that loss. Today's loss was that loss for me. And my wife's like, what's wrong with you? And I just looked at her like, you lost to the fucking Giants. What do you mean what's wrong with me? Our season is over. That's the phrase you need right there. Our season is done. They could rally, they could do the shit that there's no coming back from losing to the Giants and Bears. There's no coming back from that. More importantly, EB isn't what I thought he was. And that to me is probably more of the reason why there's no hope. Because he just doesn't get it. So, yeah, it's rough. It's rough time. Rough time. Anyway, I digress. Take a couple more and then I get out of here. Like I said, I ain't got too much for y'all tonight. Kevin. Hey, Lou, sorry to hear about your Commanders. Trust me, I feel your pain. Losing to the Raiders and Broncos back-to-back is straight pathetic. I don't know what else to say. Hashtag no pack no. But the difference is you had Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre for the better part of 2.5 decades. So it's hard for me to feel bad for you. You've been spoiled. Your biggest issue is you only got 2 Super Bowls throughout all of that dominance you had at the quarterback position. You got 2 Super Bowls to show for it, but at least you got that. Now you got to take some lumps. You've been spoiled. Just like the Indianapolis Colts, you've been spoiled for so long. Now you got to take some lumps. So I don't really I don't feel bad for you, but we can identify. I can't really identify with you because you've been a winner for a long time. You've been in the NFC Championship game 3 out of the last 4 years. Like I can't even really. We're not in the same boat. Kevin writes, outscored 63-6 the past four first halves is laughable. This team is bad, and being the youngest team in the league sure doesn't help, especially not to J Love's progression. I didn't watch the game, so I can't really speak on it. But somebody told me he threw the game clinching pick. But I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on that. Rich says, I don't know if it's just me, but the links for the LTN exclusives isn't working for me. It's probably just you. It's probably just you. That's my guess. That would be my guess. Unless the site is down. Now that I can't control, but everything's up there. SoFlo, beating up on teams that ain't worth a damn is laughable. We suck. That's part of being a dominant team in the NFL. You missing the point. Your team is doing what you're supposed to do to bad teams. You're not at that level yet where you can go on the road and beat good teams yet. You'll work to that. That's what you aspire to be. You're not there yet. But half of the battle, you want to know why the good teams are good? Because they prey on the weak and the bad teams. And they make sure that they don't lose games to teams that they ain't supposed to lose to. Y'all already mastered that. Stop complaining. You're fine. You just haven't gotten to that next level where you can go on the road. Your 2 losses have both been on the road. Tell Philadelphia to come to Miami. Tell Buffalo to come to Miami and see what happens. Maybe it's a different outcome. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it ain't. But y'all just ain't ready to go on the road and show the kind of explosiveness and dynamic ability yet. But guess what? When you play bad teams or the teams you're supposed to beat, you've taken care of business. That's half the battle. How the hell you think teams like Kansas City and Philadelphia and San Francisco get to 13, 14 wins? They don't play. This ain't the SEC. They're not playing good teams every week. You got to beat those bad teams too. That's half the battle. You know how hard it is to get up for a team that you know you better than and you expect to beat? It's easy to fall into that trap. Y'all ain't done that this year. You'll get better. Y'all will be if it ain't this year, it'll be next year. Y'all will be in a position where y'all will take that next step. All right. I think that's the last one. Slow Flow says, we're a little cute offense, but we don't have a dog in our organization. We never win grinded out type of games. We'll keep making highlights against bottom tier teams. That's it. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. So here's the thing. You got to be who you are. Y'all aren't a grinded out team. And that's okay. You're grinded out. don't look like Philadelphia or San Francisco's grinded out. You know what a grinded out game for you might look like? The New England game. On the road, 24-17. That was a grinded out victory. Yeah, you didn't know New England was going to end up 1-5 at that time. That was like a week 3 game, week 2, week 3. You didn't know the Patriots was going to be ass at that time. That was a grinded out game. What do you call that? Every game ain't going to be pretty. You ain't going to score 70 or 40 every week. That Giants win, y'all did a lot of bullshit in that game. But you know what you did? You grinded it out and you beat the Giants. Look, the Giants aren't a good football team, but you find ways to win in this league. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Trust me. You're better than 80% of the league. Trust me when I tell you. I watched a lot of football. I know. You'll be fine. Just stay healthy. That's the biggest thing that can undermine everything you're trying to do. Just stay healthy. Teams can't deal with your speed. They listen to what I'm saying to you. Bro, they double teamed Tyreek Hill on a deep ball and he still got open by 4 yards. You can't coach that shit. You can't coach that, bro. Y'all got something that every team in the league is searching for. Y'all have elite speed on every single level. Anyway, I digress. I think that's it. All right, we're going to get out of here. I think I got another super chat, then we'll get out of here. Barry Curtis. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Barry Curtis. Right. We really signed Nick Gates and Andrew Wilder. So it sounds even worse when you put it that way. But yes, that's maybe the two words. Yeah. And I didn't even have a problem with Gates until like the last two to 3 games. He was doing fine. But he's been exposed. He's great depth. Like I wouldn't mind bringing Nick Gates off my bench. Like if I asked him to be my new Schweitzer, Wes Schweitzer, I would love for him to be my new Wes Schweitzer. I would love it. To play all 3 interior offensive line positions. He's a little nasty. You know, first guy to get in somebody's face when some shit goes down. I would love him to come off my bench. Andrew Wiley, I want to see what he does at guard. He looked like he would make an excellent guard. Or at least a serviceable one. I don't know. Excellent might be a strong word. He looked like he would make a serviceable guard. Like he can't start a tackle, though. He's not a starting caliber NFL tackle. I would love to have him come off my bench as well. Okay. We got a lot of dudes I would love to have coming off the bench. But they're starting for us. That's sort of a problem. Yeah, that's sort of a problem. So anyway, I digress. SoFlo says a cute offense doesn't equal a successful season. This team has never been disciplined. Fundamentals trump everything in sports. Our season ends in December like it does every year. Your season didn't end in December last year. It ended in January. And it's not going to end in December this year either. It'll end in January again, more likely than not. First of all, nobody's season ends in December this year, by the way. I think week 18 is in January. So there's that. But you're going to play bonus football. You're going to play bonus football this year. Again, barring any kind of catastrophe, you got to keep Tua upright first and foremost. But barring something like that happening, you'll be playing some January football when everybody else is at home watching. Well, most of the teams in the league are at home watching. You're right about fundamentals. I talked about the little things. I won't call it fundamentals. The little attention to detail for an offense that has so many nuances to it, so many wrinkles, so many different things that you guys have to be repping over and over again. So I know that you have the ability to hone in on the details, because clearly you're doing it when your quarterback is throwing behind the back passes, to your running back or your wide receiver coming in motion. Like, so I know you guys can hone in, but that's unacceptable. First play of the game to have a delay a game, and then one of your first possessions of the second half or early in the second half or whenever it was, first play of the drive. I just know that whenever it was, you got to burn timeout. I really feel like that was in the fourth quarter. I really feel like, but it could have been late stages of the third. Whatever the case, you see where this game was heading. You can't afford to blow a timeout like that. First play, you know what you're running. You get on the field and you can't spit it out fast enough. Guys in the same vicinity running routes, leading to another defender that shouldn't be there picking it off. These are the small attention to details that get you got. Y'all got to clean that shit up and continue to be who you are, and you should be fine. Anyway. SoFlo says, we not beating the Chiefs next week. And year in, year out, we can't win in December. So as far as I'm concerned, we're 5-7 right now, coming from a longtime Dolphins fan. Well, a lot of times your struggles in the month of December are because you've got injuries. Last year, you struggled in December because you were playing your third string quarterback, Skylar Thompson, in December. That's why you struggled. Okay. So again, it all comes down to keeping Tua healthy. You keep him healthy, I think you'll be A-okay. You'll be just fine. Just fine. Just fine. SoFlo says, don't get me started on the SEC. I'm a Gators fan as well. Now that I can't help you with. You're on your own with the Gators. I got nothing for you right there. I got nothing for you there. Was it the other way around? Oh, here's my mobile device. I know you played Tennessee earlier this season. And I want to say you got your ass whooped, but it could be the other way around. I'm not as big of a college fan as I am an NFL fan. So I can't tell you what you did or didn't do. So I ain't going to even try to act like, let me see. I'm about to look it up, though. You beat Tennessee up. They were ranked 11th. I know somebody got their ass whooped that night. And y'all dominated them in the swamp. But, it really what also ultimately usually gets the Florida Gators is quarterback. You usually don't have a good quarterback. Anthony Richardson last year, but yeah. Anyway. Vincent Co. We'll take these last two supers and we get out of here. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes. Showing love. Appreciate you, Lou. I appreciate you, Vincent Co. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you for rocking with me all these years, man. And another one. I appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Vince. You my guy, man. Appreciate you. For show. Vincent Co. Writes. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes. Do you think we're playoff bound still, Seahawks? I know who your team is. You don't have to put that in parentheses. Yes, the NFC is not a great conference. I've laid this out for you already. Literally, there's the 49ers, Eagles, Lions, Cowboys, and somebody's going to win the NFC South. My money right now is on the Falcons. But that money changes every week. First it's Tampa, then it was the Falcons. First of all, I went into the season thinking it was the Saints. The Saints suck ass. So now it looks like the Falcons, after looking like Tampa for the first month or so, month and a half. Now it looks like Atlanta. Somebody's coming out of that division, and then there's two wild cards. because Dallas is going to be your first wild card, like they were last year. So I think you're going to grab one, and then there's going to be one more left for some unfortunate team that has to go either to Philly or San Francisco in wild card weekend. Somebody's going to win 9 games. I think it's going to take 9 games to get that final wild card. Somebody's going to get there. And maybe 10. Just depends on how shit goes. That NFC South plays a soft-ass schedule, man. And if you can't find a way to muster 9 or 10 in that division with that schedule, you don't deserve to go nowhere. You're going to be in. I just think you're a good enough team. You'll find enough victories. As long as you take care of your division, because it's not a good division, you should sweep the Rams. And didn't the Rams already come to your house and beat you, though? That happened already. So you got to take care of the Rams the next time you see them, because I think they came to your house and beat you up pretty good already, about 3 weeks ago. So you already took care of Seattle or Arizona. You're going to have to sweep them, and you're going to have to split with the Rams. It'd be nice if you could get San Francisco once. I wouldn't hold my breath, but just take care of all of the rest of the games that you have on the schedule that are, ones that you're supposed to win. All in all, I think y'all are a playoff team. In a conference that's not very strong, I think you're good enough to get in as the 6th seed. A lot of football left to play, though. Abel Ambrosio. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes. Off topic, though, loss on Steven Adams. Tough loss on losing Steven Adams for the year. I looked at my phone. I said, can this day get any worse? Can this effing day get any worse? So you tell me my football season is practically over in October, which there's no worse feeling unless your shit is over in September. And then you tell me my big man, who practically derailed my season last year by being injured, is gone for all of this year. Not to mention Ja's going to miss the first quarter of the season. I said, man, what a shitty Sunday. What a shitty Sunday today was. DJ23. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? EB needs to throw out that big menu. Nothing's working. I mean, he's not any different than probably 28 of the 32 coordinators or guys calling plays in the league that got this big ass sheet that they calling like 12 plays off of, acting like they got all of these menu of plays to choose from, and we running the same shit over and over that don't work. Vincent Coe, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Feel like every week Caleb Williams' rep gets worse, and I love it. He's such a cocky, arrogant son of a gun. I love it because he thinks his shit don't stink, and he's got a lot of people believing that he's the next coming of fill in the blank, Patrick Mahomes. ... And I could see this dude's ego being the shit that gets him whooped when he gets to the NFL level because he don't think he do shit wrong. And that shit he pulling at SC, try that shit in the NFL, that running around shit. Because for real, he's a solid athlete. He ain't elite though. We gonna see. I think his hype may exceed, like somebody, I saw a story where from some talent evaluators, scouts, the like, this is the greatest talent I've ever scouted. Oh, really? Okay. We'll see about that. Then the stuff that I hear, again, I could be ragging on the kid and he could be so much different than what he's being portrayed as. But hearing that he may go back to school if he doesn't like the teams that have the ability to pick him number 1 overall, or somebody said he had a list. I don't believe stuff that other people tell me. I need to read it for myself. People can tell me anything. But it doesn't sound that far-fetched when you know what's already been reported that's coming out of his camp about what he desires. So I wouldn't be shocked if this clown, much like Russell Wilson, I don't feel bad for guys that make lists of teams that they want to go to. I'll only accept a trade to this, and this team. Which, again, you earn the right. If you earn the right as a veteran that's done it, that's won a Super Bowl, you earn the right to say, this is where I want to go and finish my career at. This man ain't played a single snap in the NFL, and he wants to dictate where he goes? Kiss my ass. I love seeing him struggle. Love it. Mike Leslie, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Right, so we needed this dub to start this tough gauntlet of teams. Regardless of how these weeks have been going, division games ain't no joke. Axe Buffalo. Family business is family business is family mother effing business. Okay. You can run from it. You can try to demean it. You can try to talk about how this don't matter, that don't matter. When you play a family member, shit's different. It just is. Half the time, the shit don't even make sense. Big win for the Eagles tonight. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Sunday Night Football overtime. Eagles get the 31-17 victory over the Miami Dolphins. Eagles improve to an NFC best 6-1, tying the 6-1 Kansas Super Bowl defending champion. I'm going to put some respect on their name, Kansas City Chiefs, for the best record in the NFL. Obviously, the San Francisco 49ers will have an opportunity to tie the Eagles for the best record in the NFC with a win over Minnesota on Monday night. We'll see if they're able to get that done. But this was a statement win. This was a big win. A lot of people questioning Philadelphia after last week's loss, and rightfully so. And this is a tough stretch of ball that's coming up for the Eagles. And it started with this game. And I'm anxious as a football fan. I'm anxious to see how they navigate this part of their schedule and see how. And what's going to be key is health, because they caught the Dolphins at the right time. They caught the Dolphins in a vulnerable position. They didn't have their best corner, Xavier Howard. They didn't have their running back. They didn't have two-fifths of their offensive line. Then lose another piece of that offensive line on the first possession of the game. They caught him at the right time. Waddle was banged up tonight, but that's not an excuse. Everybody's got injuries in this league, and Philadelphia played some excellent football tonight and got it done, 31-17. Dolphins dropped to 5-2, and they got to clean up some of the little things. Get healthy. That's the biggest thing. Just get some of these guys back. Teron Armstead and Isaiah Wynn and Connor Williams and Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard and Devin A-Chain. Get all these guys back. These are pivotal guys. These aren't just Jags. These are big-time players for you. Get these guys back. And then let's see what you got. I saw some flashes from this defense tonight. Flashes that I don't know I've seen for much of the season. So, anyway, I digress. Y'all have a good night. Take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Football overtime at the conclusion of Niners Vikings. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless. Good night. Oh, and the Kelly Greens. Fire. Fire.